Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be doing Donald Trump versus Elizabeth Warren in the 2020 presidential election. So without further ado, let's get right into it and fill out the states that Donald Trump is going to win in the safe column. That would be Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming. I'm sorry, some Mormon guy will not have a chance this time around. Montana, the Dakotas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, the deep south per se, except for Georgia, of course, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Nebraska, everything except Nebraska's 2nd district will be going to Trump safe, as well as the great state of Alaska, the last frontier, will be going to Donald Trump in the safe column, as well as Maine's 2nd district. Even though Warren is from the Northeast, I still expect Donald Trump to win it in the safe column. However, Elizabeth Warren is going to win some states here. I think that compared to an establishment Democrat, she'll get out the Antifa vote in Oregon, the Portland people, and they will come out strongly for her. So I think that she, for that reason alone, is going to win the state of Oregon safe, as well as the state of Washington, New York, Vermont. All these states down here on this right sidebar are also going to be going for Warren in the safe column, as well as Illinois, as well as Maine's 1st district and the big state of California are all going to be going in the Warren Booker column. I think she'll choose Booker because she'll have trouble connecting to the establishment and the black community, and Booker touches on both. However, Booker will fail to galvanize the votes of the black community, and Warren's turnout will probably end up being lower than Hillary Clinton's in terms of the black community turnout. So Hawaii also will be going for Elizabeth Warren. Now, as we look for these other states, these swing states we can fill in here. New Mexico, I expect to go for Warren. I do expect it to be a very close margin. A lot of Latinos may vote Democrat, but they aren't really always ready for a far-left candidate, particularly one who as alienated Native Americans, and Native American population is bigger in New Mexico than every state, I believe, except for Alaska and maybe Oklahoma, and they're very independent-minded voters. Native Americans are the most unpredictable voting group in America. They voted red in the midterms, and they also voted blue in 2016. So we're really going to have to watch the native vote, especially in places like New Mexico, and how they would react to Warren, which is why I also think that Nevada is going to end up flipping into the Donald Trump column this time around. It was close last time, and I think that Hillary was a much better fit for a very, very suburban state. Nevada is a very suburban state, as well as Colorado, but Colorado is also more of a left-leaning state, especially on things like marijuana. I don't really think Warren has made that a big part of her campaign, but I do think that she is going to win Colorado by around 4-point margin, not nearly as much as Hillary Clinton won it, actually. It's going to be roughly around the same margin there. Arizona, I think the suburbs are going to be cancer for Warren. I think Biden would have a shot to make it a very razor-thin race, assuming that he mentally stayed intact the whole entire campaign, which I would not expect to happen regardless. But I also think that Arizona, you have the Mormons in places like Mesa and Tempe that stayed home last time around. I think that Donald Trump is going to be able to win them this time because he has proven himself as a real conservative. So he's going to win Arizona by roughly 5 to 6 points. Georgia, a similar story. He's going to be able to do well enough to win the state by roughly 5. I'll put it in the lean column. I think it's going to be a little bit closer because of Atlanta and the way it's growing, but at the same time, I still think that he's going to do comparatively to how he did in 2016 in the state. Texas, likely, they're not going to come out for Elizabeth Warren, even though they might not like things like Trump's trade policies or his personality or potentially things like the bump stock ban. But definitely, I think Trump is going to do a lot better getting the vote out in Texas than they did in the midterms for the GOP, and I think he's going to win the state by probably around 7 to 10 points, assuming Elizabeth Warren would be the nominee, just because she's too far left. Yes, she's a fighter, but her policies align 100% with Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders now, to his own demise, has health problems, and we don't wish him harm. We wish Bernie Sanders well, even though we disagree with him here severely, but that's beside the point. But it also says that now she really is the presumptive nominee, assuming that she is getting some support from Biden as he loses support because of Ukraine, as well as getting some of the Bernie Sanders vote from before. As for the state of Florida here, Trump will connect her to socialism somehow, and that's going to piss off the already alienated Cubans that voted red in the midterms. Gillum couldn't win in a very D-friendly environment there, and Warren is not going to be able to turn out voters the same way Gillum even was in terms of the communities like the black community or whatever. And Florida, the minorities vote more Republican than they do in most of the country, and that for that alone, I think that Warren is going to lose by a lean margin instead of a tilt margin. North Carolina with Warren, I think it's going to be likely. She's just too far left. She can have this pseudo-populist connection, but nobody's really going to buy it. She's like unbearable to listen to unless you're some indoctrinated college liberal. And for that reason alone, she's not going to be able to do well in places like North Carolina. She's not going to connect well like with places in Appalachia, really any more than Hillary Clinton can, because her policies are just too far left. They just won't be working for a lot of people. Even if you are on the far left and that's your positions, you have to look into history and see how America has rejected the far left candidates in the past, and as well as the fact that they do not turn out minorities at higher rates, because minority Democrats are nowhere near as far left as white Democrats, despite the fact that minorities are a more reliable voting bloc for the Democrat Party. Now, as for the state of Virginia, I do expect Virginia to go lean for Warren. It's just too establishmentarian, and they don't want to risk Donald Trump in the White House for any longer than they'd like him to be there. Nebraska's 2nd district will go lean for Donald Trump. It'll win it by more than he did last time. Iowa will be likely. I think Ohio, Richard Cordray got whacked there in the midterms, and he was tying himself to Warren significantly, except for the fact that the midterms favored Democrats because Democrats turned out. It was a D+8 electorate. Cordray won by 4, assuming that the electorate would be D+3, D+2, and that's what the polls really show with Trump and Warren. You would expect Trump to continue the trend and win Ohio safe, and it's very possible. I'll put it in the safe column. It's possible that Biden would make it likely. Maybe Biden would do a little bit better in Ohio, but I still don't think so based on trends, and I think we'll see it. Again, I think the polls will show it be closer than it actually will be come 2020. As for the Rust Belt 4, even though Minnesota and much of Wisconsin's not really a part of the Rust Belt, Warren being so strange has that weird appeal in the, I guess, eastern suburbs where they love the weirdo candidates, but Trump will do better in the rest of the state. I think it's going to be a very razor-thin margin either way. We'll come back to it. I think Trump will win Wisconsin lean. I think he could win it likely if Warren didn't have that appeal in places like Madison, but I think her turnout in Milwaukee would be even lower than Hillary Clinton's. So for that reason alone, I do think Wisconsin will go for Donald Trump. As for the state of Michigan, I live here. They're not going to like Warren. She'll make it a fight. It's going to be very close. But then again, Trump's approval has risen since the election. He was at 37%. Now he's at roughly around 45. He's at around 43 right now, maybe 44 because of scandal, but he'll bounce back once the Democrats fail miserably in their impeachment efforts. So for that reason alone, Michigan is going to stay in the tilt Republican column. Pennsylvania, Warren's not going to be able to have appeal to coal country. This woman wants the Green New Deal, and you're going to tell me that she's going to get support from these Democrats that supposedly will back her? I don't think so. I think Pennsylvania is going to lean for Trump because Western Pennsylvania will bring home the victory for Donald Trump again in 2020. As for Maine at large and New Hampshire, I think Trump is going to make a play in the state of New Hampshire and actually end up flipping the state. Again, Warren will not be as well funded as Hillary Clinton. She won't be able to get out the vote as much as Hillary Clinton. She won't get that corporate money, which is why she probably won't be the nominee. And if assuming that they'll put somebody in there like Hillary Clinton, why is she in 3rd place now almost in the betting odds for 2020 if she's not running? Trust me, Vegas knows, and I'll talk about this on my live stream later tonight if you guys are watching this on October 2nd, but we'll be talking about this throughout the election cycle. Maine at large, the same thing. Based off trends alone, that'll flip as well. Trump will embarrass Warren in her home territory, as well as the fact he's going to pick off the state of Minnesota very narrowly. I think with a generic progressive, or whatever they like to call themselves, Trump's going to win 328 to 210. And then some Mormon guy will be left out in the dust. Again, I apologize, some Mormon guy, but that's just the way it is. So thanks everybody for watching this video. Please give this video a like. Please comment down below and hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Thanks everybody for watching, guys. Red Eagle, out.